Hello, my name is Kai, and I am a bit of a rambler. I like to travel, listen, and tell stories, and I'm just telling whatever was going on this week on the next Ramble On episode. Oh, first, I realized that the 10th episode of the podcast went out a few days ago. I don't keep track of time pretty much at all. I have pre-planned a bunch of the episodes so that I don't have to worry about the schedule too much, but if I'm not looking at a calendar, I very rarely know what day or date it is, because, I'm traveling all the time. I don't have a schedule to keep. So I was delightfully surprised to see that the 10th episode had come out, and I didn't really celebrate it much at all, actually. I was just like, oh, that's cool. It's going, and it's going to keep going. I have episodes produced. I feel like I've got a hang of the Ramble On things, just a casual weekly roundup, have fun, spit take. That's not correct. So I'm really hoping I can get 100 episodes done in the first year. I don't know if I'll keep the schedule at twice a week, because that's pretty hectic for someone as laid back as I am. Irresponsible as I am, some might say. But for now, I think that would be really cool. If I can get 100 episodes done my first year and just have a whole bunch of stuff, and then maybe relax it after that. And that's including the bonus episodes. So I'll still have one a week of the regular ones and then 50 companion bonus episodes with it. I don't know if I'll do the bonus episodes every week after I hit that milestone. 10 feels like a milestone. 10 feels pretty good, though. I was just walking around and realized that number 10 had come out. And it felt like a good achievement, because it was something I planned out and executed and carried out, so kind of cool. Okay, I never mentioned I listened to Pete Mitchell's next solo album. So there's this funny band called No More Kings. Really good band, too, with good music. They have a few albums, 4 albums now. And I was obsessed with the first album when it came out. It's a bunch of 90s nostalgia, fun songs. Like just a song about Knight Rider, sang from the perspective of Kit, or a tale of Schroeder from Peanuts who plays the piano, just like how his life is like, or some guy who wants to become a famous puppet show person, and he's talking about how he makes his sock puppet shows in his basement, and one day he'll take over the world with his sock puppet shows. It's a really funny, fun album with good music, and Pete Mitchell, the singer, sings really well. So I listened to that album 1,100 times, and then after their, I think, third album, they kind of took a hiatus for a decade and a half. But Pete Mitchell, that singer, is a very creative guy, and he made t-shirts. My favorite t-shirt ever in the past 10 years is The Girl in the Sea, this song about a fisherman who found a mermaid. And I had that shirt forever. Everyone loves it. It's just a great art style. And he kept on making music as well. A few solo albums. And I've been listening to them, and he has listen parties on YouTube when a new one comes out, and there's always 30 or 50 of us just listening along with the new ones. And he happened to be living in Arizona at the same time I had moved to Arizona. And so he said this album, In Measured Hundredweight, was inspired by living in Arizona. And when I was listening to it, I was like, man, this really fits like this crazy desert lifestyle. And I didn't realize that that was because he had made it in the exact same environment I was in. Like, he was living in Las Vegas at the same time I was living in Las Vegas, actually, I think it was. And then he moved to Colorado after that, and I think I moved to Colorado at the same time, which I found out after I bought that shirt from him and emailed him. We just found out that we were living in similar places. But anyway, I was just in Panama in Guatemala, and his newest solo album came out, and it was just really cool to have that thread of music in my life from this one artist who a few people listened to, and I went to the listen party for the new album, and it was good, and it was just a really nice time listening to it. I listened to it on the beach on the shore of Lake Atitlan, and just yeah, vibed out with everybody else listening to the music, and we all had a good time. So that was really cool. I tried to organize this episode chronologically, mostly, so I won't be jumping around as much back and forth between settings. So that was in Panahachel. And then I had to choose where I was going to go next, because I didn't choose my ticket until a few days before I left. I just didn't really know where to go after Guatemala, and until, you know what really made my decision was Chinese food. I really wanted to eat Chinese and just other food, because I think I mentioned this. The food in Guatemala is good, but it's Guatemalan food. There's a few things, and they taste great, but I also want to be able to go to an Asian supermarket and pick up the ingredients and spices I like. So that's why I chose Panama. And it was a great decision because, again, as I mentioned, I really like living in Panama so far. I've only been here a week or so, but I enjoy all parts of the city. And I know I mentioned this also, but it really does feel like New York City. There's performing arts theaters everywhere. The public transportation is so cheap. All the women are so beautiful and fashionable. And there's boutiques everywhere, but it has Panama prices, so I'm not paying crazy. You know, I'm paying $300 a month right now to live in my little dorm situation going on, which I'm not sure if I'm going to keep living here or not. I'm looking at other places, but this place is very comfortable and it's a good price. But much more than that, because that's not as critical a factor to where I stay anymore. I like that at night I can still narrate stuff, and most of the people here are nice, except for this one person who is absolutely nut farts and racist and ableist, I think is the proper word to use here. She says retard a lot, and she's just a very unpleasant person to be around. But she mostly holds up in her rooms screaming at her camera. I think she's a cam girl or something. I don't really know. But other than her, the place itself is nice. Like, it has the problems you could imagine any dorm room might have. Like, there's supposed to be 2 people per room. The people living next to me definitely have at least 3 people, I think 4, living in that one room. But it's like, fucking whatever. So, I do like this place. I just don't know if I'm going to stay here for 1 month or 2 months or more. I don't know. We'll see. I just started watching a TV show starring Aziz Ansari called Master of None that someone mentioned on some podcast or something, can't remember. But I find his stand-up comedy a little too energetic, like too hyper. But the comedy in the show is so funny. It's just like a real, like a funny guy in your group. He's funny. He's actually very funny. And I like a lot of the actors. I think all the acting is good. I think the stories are very good. Nothing's over the top. It's just a good show about his perspective, and I guess the other writer, Alan Yang, the 2 of them wrote it together, on the differences between men and women and old people, and each show kind of has a theme. It's a very funny show, and they tell a lot of good stories without being too serious. It's fun the whole time. You never have to worry like, oh, things are going to get terrible. Actually, one time there's like a relationship thing and things are tough, but it's a well-told story that it's perfectly comfortable watching them have their troubles, because that's what relationships are like, and it doesn't last forever. And he's been sad for 3 episodes or whatever in the show, but it's still a good show. I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm very impressed by the quality of the show, and I'm very glad I tried to watch it because I'm having a great time. Okay, so I chose Panama because I was like, hey, that city's rich enough to have Asian markets where everything doesn't cost $20 for 1 can of something. And that's been one of the nicest things. My expectations on food have been completely borne out. Like, so the regular Panamanian food is so good. There's a huge Afro influence, which I read this, so apparently means there's a whole bunch of stews and like thick dark, deeper flavors, which I really like a lot of darker soups and deeper flavors. So there's, man, the food here, the fondas, you can just choose one portion. Oh my gosh, I think I'd start talking about these, but I'm salivating just talking about the fondas because they're so good. So they're just buffet style foods, and you just get as much as you want of any dish, and there's 30 hot plates, and you just choose one portion of that, 2 portions of that. And there's vegetarian ones. It's 80 cents per portion, so you can get a huge plate of food for $4. And then if you get meat, especially seafood is the most expensive thing, it's $3 a portion. But that's 8 giant shrimps, huge, for $3. And it's $2.50 for beef and $2 for pork. It's just the prices are still very good, and the food, much more importantly, is very good. So just the local food here, you can eat very well on the cheap, regularly every single day, because there's fondas everywhere, or fondas, I guess. It has to be fonda. I don't know. I see the word written. It's like Fonda, Bridget Fonda or something, but with the vowel pronunciation, it must be fonda. But anyway, the fondas are, oh man, delicious. I also got to go to the Asian markets, which was funny because I took a bus for 40 minutes. I got off. I walked for over an hour, and I came to this Chinatown. Actually, 2 different Chinatowns. One was completely broken down. It was the first Chinatown in Panama City, but all that's left is the Welcome to Chinatown sign, and there's only 3 markets open. And I bought a couple things because I was oh, okay, well, at least there's a few Asian shops open. And then I went to a different Asian market, closer to where I was, but still not super close. And there were 10 Asian markets. And I was oh, what? And then I went to one closer to my house, and there's another 10 Asian markets, and it was way cheaper closer to my neighborhood. All the stuff I bought from the first one at the broken down old Chinatown, everything was $1 cheaper or more at the one closer to my house. Now, that might be you should have gone there first. You wasted a little money. Whatever. The important part is now I know where the cheap Asian market is with the better selection and fresh vegetables, and it's closer to my house. So I might actually go there today. I was thinking of making some curry, because they have those curry blocks, and I like the Japanese curry the best, and it looks like there's a Chinese curry block that they're trying to emulate, that kind of thing. So I kind of want to try the flavor of that. So I get some vegetables and have some noodles. Oh, I bought packages of egg noodles. So I make egg noodles myself, which is really nice, but I make it because I love egg noodles. And China, you can buy a pack of 10 for a couple bucks, and they have that same price here in the Asian markets near my house. So I bought a packet of 10, and I've been eating with hot pot base, which you just slice off a 1 by 2 inch chunk of this congealed hot pot oil and spice mix. Throw that in, melt it down after you've cooked the noodles, and then pour it on afterwards. I like cooking them separately. It seems like you get more flavor than if you cook it with the spice directly inside. I think I'm going to try that with the curry also. And oh man, it works so well. I've already had the spicy noodles dish 3 or 4 times, and I've mixed it, I mixed in some peanuts, or I mixed in some vegetables I bought. Today, I went to one of the vegetarian fondas and bought a mushroom loaf, basically, they make out of portobello mushrooms. They'll make a meatloaf, but out of mushrooms. A shroom loaf. And some tofu and stuff, and so I got that today. So it's great. It's a very easy base, just noodles and then the spicy mix, and then I can choose whatever meat or vegetables I buy from the fonda, or fresh vegetables, and mix that in. Really just cook it up and throw it in there, and then I have this great varied meal that I can try. So I've been very happy finding these Asian restaurants and being able to get my fix for Sichuan mala, the numb spicy flavor, which is my favorite flavor in China, as you might recall from my hysterical episodes about my favorite China foods. And now I can eat all those again. And speaking of great Asian flavors, I also looked up barbecues here. And there is a China buffet that I haven't been to yet that I'm going to go to probably tomorrow or the next day. I'm going to go there soon. But I've been spending like a bunch of money trying all the Panamanian foods and all their beers and just having a fun like first week. So I'm taking it slow a couple days and just eating the food I already bought that I haven't eaten because I keep going to all the new fondas and stuff. But there's a Chinatown buffet that I'm going to go to in the next couple days. And then my first or second day here, I think Sunday, last week, I went to a Korean barbecue. And the city here, like I said, it looks like New York. There's a lot of tall buildings and skyscrapers everywhere. And I just kind of walked through the city, kind of marveling at the architecture, because some of the buildings look really nice, too. It's a very impressive city. And 45 minutes later, I came across this Kokyo buffet, Korean buffet. But as soon as I walked in, I was like, oh, it's definitely like there's a couple people making this whole thing. And it's real Korean food. You can just tell by the smells right away. And as soon as I tried some of the sauces, I was like, yep, that is as authentic as it gets. And they're having a perpetual sale right now, so it's $14, all you can eat Kokyo buffet. So that first day I got a Balboa and a Panama beer. Actually, I tried the food first, because if the food wasn't good, then I wasn't going to even drink beer. But what did I try? The bulgogi was good, not great. The meat was a little old, but the sauce was perfect. And so I was like, well, I can get over, slightly overcooked meat. It's a buffet. They can't have fresh meat every day. Also, I went at the end of the week, so I'll try and go at the first day of the buffet week next time and see how the bulgogi tastes. And then, aside from that, they had this folded omelet that I can't remember the name of. It's the omelet in a spiral. It folds in on itself, but man, that was seasoned perfectly. I really don't like sweet eggs, and this was savory and salty, and there were fresh vegetables in it, and it knocked my socks off. I had like 10 pieces of it. So after I had the egg and the bulgogi, I was like, okay, I should get a beer because I'm going to keep eating this food. And the Balboa was a totally standard, boring beer. And the Panama I had 30 minutes later was also just, whatever. I don't even care about it. They were fine, and they were okay accompaniment to the food, but they were not very special beers in any way. I did like this other one, Sobraria. I have to check the name. Soberana. Yeah, Soberana. I thought it was a non-alcoholic because it said sober, but I asked the lady who was selling it. She was like, oh no, if you want booze, that has booze in it. And it has like 3.5%. But that one actually tasted okay. I liked that one. I tried that on a later day that I'll talk about in a bit. At the Korean barbecue, I just tried the Balboa and the Panama beers. And they were boring, but, I was eating great food, so it was fun to have a beer along with those. The bibimbap station was really cool because they had the 4 different vegetables to add to it and homemade bibimbap sauce. And then after you make it, you can give it to the person at the counter, and they'll actually fry an egg and put it on top how you like it. You can order soft or hard boiled. I got soft, of course. Keep it tradish. I probably had 4 bibimbaps and more servings of bulgogi than that, more servings of that egg than that. There was a really good fried omelet too, and I really liked the first bite of that, but by the end I was like, I could take it or leave it. The fried chicken was super good, and I didn't have enough of that. I should have had more of that. I'll have to go back because I want to incorporate more chicken and maybe less white rice, even though the rice was super good in my bibimbaps. But I got to get some more fried chicken from that place. Korean fried chicken is good stuff. So if you do go to Panama City and you're craving some Korean food or Korean food specifically, this one's all Korean food, that Kokyo buffet is certainly worth checking out. It's a good price for a very varied menu and all the traditional stuff too. Like they had the sweet black bean sauce. Oh, they had that really good honey tea that's popular in Korea. So they have all the traditional dishes. I don't really like sweet stuff as much, so I mostly stayed salty and alcoholic. But I liked that the menu was so broad and very traditional still, and it had a couple concessions to the local food. Like they had the potato salad that Panamanians really like, and they had the fried chicken, but I guess that's Korean. It was great, and it was a very great experience. Oh, and I just showed up. I happened to show up right at like they had just opened that minute, and nobody else was in there. So I was eating by myself for 10 minutes, and I was like, oh man, this food's so good. I hope they have a few more customers. And then as soon as I thought that, a party of 5 walked in. I was like, oh, good, that's good. And then 20 more people flooded in the next minute. Like as soon as 12 o'clock rolled around, I think I showed up at like 11:31 or whatever. It was packed. Every single table was completely full. So at the beginning, I was kind of worried, and I was feeling bad because I eat a lot at buffets. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to like eat all their food and just be, thanks, here's $14 and then leave. So when everybody showed up, I was like, oh, good. Okay, their business is doing fine. I don't have to worry about eating them out of hearth and home, not leaving them any leftovers. So Kokyo Buffet was cool. Oh, and the guy who runs it, I got in a conversation with him. He speaks Korean and English and Spanish very well. He was born in Korea and then moved to France? No. I can't remember. Honduras, I think it was. When he was a child, and then his parents moved a couple more times when he was young and then settled in Panama. So he's been in Panama for like 10 years or something. But he was an interesting guy to talk to, and I was like, oh, I've been traveling too, and we just had a good conversation. And he explained a couple of the Korean things that I knew before and then totally forgot about, like that honey tea. I know I tried that when I was in Korea, but it has been a decade since I've had any. And when he explained it, I was like, oh, dang, I know that stuff. Yes, give me that honey fruit punch or whatever the heck it is. And he explained, because he saw me going for my third bibimbap, and he was like, that's an egg station right there, so they'll put the egg on it too. And I was like, oh, what? And when he asked me what kind, if I wanted soft boiled or hard, I was like, oh, soft boiled, right? That's the tradition. He was like, oh yeah, that's the way to do it. Mix it in like a sauce. So it was really nice to make that connection with another traveler who was living in Panama. He's way younger than me. He's probably 10 years, 15 years younger or something. But he was just working with his family in this buffet, and it was doing well. He liked the food. It was clear, and he was kind of managing it. His mom was there, being the Tiger Mom manager, but just like sitting at a table with an abacus. And he got to be the shift manager, kind of managing what was going on. And it looked like he was in his element. And it was really cool to see him just effortlessly slip between Korean when a Korean person walked in, and when he heard my terrible Spanish, he was like, oh man, we can speak English, it's fine. It's like, oh thank God. And then Spanish, as soon as the Panamanians come in, he can just flip. Pretty cool to see. Oh man, okay, so I wrote this down, so I should talk about it. The end of the buffet story is that it was great. I had a good time, and then I left, and I'll probably go back. Okay, I remembered this, and this is like the first thing I learned in Spanish, almost. I mean, I learned from Muzzy, so I did learn, yo tengo hambre, and quiero un reloj, and like some stuff from this VHS called Muzzy, where an alien who eats clocks teaches you different languages. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, when I was finally in school, I looked up the dictionary. This is the first thing I looked up in the dictionary, I guess. I wanted to know how you can say damn you, you asshole. Because I was in, high school something, and I thought that would be cool. I think I was in high school. I think it was in like 9th grade. And I was like, swearing's cool. And then I always thought that for the rest of my life. End of story. Now, so I looked up the words, but I didn't understand I didn't understand translation yet really at all. So I just looked up the individual words, and I came up with maldición tu asno agujero, which is damn you asshole. But completely separate words, and I just translated them like phonetically and chunk-wise, word by word. And that's not what you would say at all. And I remember I asked the girl I was in Spanish 5 with, because I was good at Spanish. So it was just me and a fluent native-speaking girl in classes together. And because we were ahead of the rest of the class, we both tested out of the regular Spanish levels that the high school had. So we just talked Spanish to each other and then passed every semester. I don't know. I did learn Spanish because I was talking to a fluent speaker, Evelyn. Thanks. And she was like, no, that's wrong. No. When I was like, really? Because I went to the dictionary and these are the words. She was like, no, you just say like puta or chingada or something. And I was like, but how does that translate to 5 different words? That's just one word. And I was kind of caught up on that, but I believed her because she was a native speaker. And she taught me how to swear in Spanish properly. And then the teacher would come out of the class. We were in a separate class, I think, like half the time. And the teacher would be like, hey, are you guys studying? And we'd be like, biblioteca. And that teacher was the worst, by the way. But she was like, okay, whatever, and then would leave again. And whatever, we kept getting A's, so not much to complain about. Oh, when I was in the buffet and I got a beer, I decided to get that first Balboa beer. I was like, well, time to get the beer to that shift manager guy. And he's like, nice, it'll go well together. And I was like, yeah, beer bimbop, because I had already got like 3 bibimbops. And I was like, beer bimbop, that's so funny. Then he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh shit, of course, you've heard that like 30 times. Like today, probably. He was like, yeah, I hear it a lot. I was like, okay, sorry, thanks. But in my head, I was like, beer bimbop, that's fucking, you're a genius. You fucking wordsmith. So I haven't been to the China buffet yet. I'll update you in the next ramble on how that's gonna be. It's gonna be good, I'm guessing. The food here, just the regular Panamanian food is so good. And then every time I try another food, it's so good. Because again, it's like New York City, and you have a melting pot of all these different cultures' foods, but they're also like this Korean buffet, very Korean. It feels like it really does taste like I was in Korea. Like the texture of the vegetables was cooked the same. The kimchi tasted exactly homemade. Like the bibimbap sauce especially, it was all so Korean. Like if you're in America, in most places, even in New York, I definitely ate it places that just felt fusioned. And then there's no sense of the actual culture you're eating from. And there's definitely tons of fusion places here. But I like that, like in New York, you can also find pockets where there's the Moroccan place and they do Moroccan food made Moroccan style by Moroccans. So they do that with restaurants here also. If I just want local food, there's a fusion Chinese Panamanian place, but if I want a Chinese place, there's also Chinese dishes and Chinese restaurants that focus on Chinese food made by Chinese people in the Chinese fashion. And it's great having that at my fingertips because the restaurants there's so many restaurants. It's a garden of great restaurants. I'm really impressed by the quality of the food and the quality of the restaurants here. It's great. And the accessibility. The phone does make everything accessible, so it's really nice. And easy to get good food. Oh, so that crazy lady's screaming at her computer right now down the hall. I think she talks, like I said, I think she's a cam girl in some capacity or something. And she speaks in this really weird accent. I mentioned she was racist and stuff. She's American, naturally. And she screams, yells, I'll say, because it's not really a shriek, but she yells loudly at people. So behind her door, you can still hear it when my door's closed down the hall even. And she was screaming at one of her clients or whatever. Oh, I'm a cow, and you're going to hurt a little cow. I'm a cow and you're gonna hurt a little cow. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Because when I walked into the dorm, she was exiting her room and the first thing she says was, hey, you, I think I like you. I feel it. Which, like, I'm a hippie and I'm pretty relaxed, and I do actually get that from time to time. People will say something like that. You know what? You make me feel comfortable, or like, I like being around you. So when she said that, I was like, oh, thanks, nice to meet you. And she introduced herself, and I was like, that's a weird accent. Either she's making it up, or she's from a country I have no clue of. She was making it up. As far as I can tell, she's making up an accent, and I don't want to emulate it here. That seems too pointed, but it's very odd and specific, like sort of Natasha from Rocky and Bullwinkle. It's not that accent, but it's about that thick. So when you hear it, you're like, you think she has an actual accent, but it much more now seems like an affectation after I've talked to her a bit, because I cook in the kitchen. And while I was cooking in there, she walked in, and the first thing she says was, oh, this is a technology solution. I have to deal with a man trying to dominate the kitchen, and I will. And then she scream-laughed at me, and then she sat down and started cutting up fruit to boil. She boils large pots of fruit every day, and that's what she eats. I don't think I can keep talking about her. It's so weird. But she hated my sandals because apparently they were dominating her, and she kept talking about technology solutions, which were like the Illuminati, as she described them, because I was like, well, what are those? And she was like, well, they make me stab myself with the knife. And she was like holding a knife and chopping up her fruit. And I was like, oh, okay, you're like not a little off. Like, not just unhinged, like the hinges are missing. But I almost never see her. That's also when she told me how she hates Mexicans and, I mean, men, and just how the brain people are using technology solutions to psychically attack her. And I was like, well, we don't have to talk anymore. I don't think I'm going to miss anything else from this. So after I got enough information, over 15, 20 minutes, I was like, well, I'm going to go watch TV in my room. Goodbye. And I don't really see her. She stays in her room and yells at her computer, and then I go out and search for crocodiles. Oh, I'm already 32 minutes into this, though. Maybe I'll talk about the crocodiles next time. What should I close this out on, though? Oh, how about the Rana Dorada? Because I mentioned all the different beers I got, and there's a very famous bar. Also, I don't think a lot of people know much about Panama, because there's, 20 blogs about Panama, and every single one mentions the two same things. Mercado de Marisco, which is just a giant food court of seafood down by the pier, and it's like the most touristy seafood plaza in the city. And then the Rana Dorada, the Golden Frog, which is the most touristy bar in Panama City. But, every single person wrote about them. So I went to the Rana Dorada, and I was like, oh, okay. They have fun 90s rock music playing, and it looks cool. There's hardwood, but it looks like any Colorado bar, actually. It looks like a lot like a Colorado bar. Hardwood and a lot of space, low lighting, which I like, but the prices were the same as Colorado also, which I didn't like as much, except for their hard seltzers. So they have a green mango and limon hard seltzer, and they have a red mango and orange hard seltzer. And if you get those to go, each of them are $1. And the regular beers during happy hour are like $2.25, which is good. But otherwise, it's a half pint for $4 if you're not there happy hour. But all the to-go seltzers are always $1 Balboa or $1. So I just got those, and those are I liked those better than their other beers anyway. So it's a cool looking spot. You're not gonna find anything particularly Panamanian about it, except for their beers, which are not bad. They just taste like beers. But I was happy to find a couple new seltzers, and actually I was glad to try the new beer. And I had a few different ceviches, because they sell a bunch of different ceviches everywhere. So I had a shrimp ceviche with one of the limon and green mango seltzers. And it was a good first week here. It's been a good first week here. And I got a bunch more stuff to get into. But I'll wrap this one up here and then talk to you on the next one with more Panama news. Thank you for listening, and as always, you can talk to me at bitofarambler@gmail.com or all the socials, and I will catch you on the flippity flops.